the Solitude here, or at least another white card to pitch into it. Hopefully, maybe even being able to get some tools to keep these creatures around a little bit more, right? The Ephemerates and things like that here. But let's see, what will we be able to deploy? Got a nice grip full now.
Yeah, and I think Michel drew all of his Solitudes. I think there are 4 Solitudes in Michel's hand, but sadly, I don't think there is an Ephemerate there.
All right, so in kind of going through and debating, like we already know the cards that are available for Luca here, right? It's like we know there's the counter spell, we know that there's the fatal push, so it's like basically, there's the Solitude coming across, pitching the other one like we talked about, and so that will clear up at least any additional Bowmaster problems that could be coming here. Yeah, lots of Force Negation still available for any kind of additional counter spell battles, but looks like we're gonna do another quick draw up of 7 more cards. So what are we looking for here now? Why are we continuing to dig? Are we just going to be going all in at this point in time? Oh, there it is. So we needed that Ephemerate.
Yes, I am a bit confused what happened to the Bowmaster's trigger, because I think the first Bowmaster... Okay, I think I know what happened. So, because the Bowmasters was flashed in response to Griselbrand activating, and then I think in response to the Bowmaster, Michel took another Griselbrand activation, drew into the cards that we've seen, the 4 Solitudes and stuff. Then Bowmasters resolved, and then before the initial activation resolves, Michel used Solitude to get rid of Bowmasters, which is, I think, a pretty nice line. And right now, I have hard time envisioning Luca winning this game.
Yeah, it's like once the Griselbrand was able to stick around and the Bowmaster wasn't actually able to deal the damage that it needed to do there, it's like kind of that like struggle now to go, okay, what can I piece together here to be able to get myself going again? Can I find another Bowmaster? But after like basically being able to draw 14 cards in a turn and really set up a whole grip of like tools to kind of answer whatever Luca does, it's going to be very tough for him in this position here. But, not giving up without a fight, looking through what he's got available in his hand to try to make something work here. Consult the star charts, though. At least going to be able to kind of take a cheeky peek at the top and see if there's anything coming up that could assist him here.
Yeah. Sadly, I don't think there is anything.
Yeah.
Those 3 cards, if I saw them correctly, were Spell Snare, another Consult, and Subtlety. One of those ideal in this spot. Luca has some tools to deal with an onboard Griselbrand, but it's mostly limited to Shieldred's Edict, which doesn't really work with other creatures on the other side of the board.
Yeah, that's true. It's like Sheldred's Edict's a great card, forces your opponent to be able to sacrifice, a non-token creature here. But like because the Archaeologist is on this version of Esper's Glory, a lot of players have also pivoted off the Archaeologist and done more of the like setup with different spells, like Faithful Mendings and things like that. But having more creatures out there to basically absorb the Sheldred's Edict is really nice.
Yes, definitely. Especially with the blue-black deck getting more and more popular online.
Yes, exactly.
It's been creeping out its way throughout the metagame, and currently it's the most popular blue-black deck in the format, usurping the throne that once was held by the Psychic Frog blue-black deck, either splashing a color or not, either playing Oculus or not. Basically, ever since MH3, some sort of Psychic Frog deck has been at least reasonably popular in the format, and right now, for the first time, basically, it seems like a blue-black mid-rangey deck is not playing Psychic Frog.
Yeah, I do like that we kind of have 2 dedicated control decks now, like the blue-black control deck and then just the blue-white control decks that now exist in Modern. You can kind of go, do you want more Planeswalker-y control, or do you want almost this like tempo-y flash control here?
Yes, it's a nice variety.
All right, so fetching up, getting the watery grave here again. I like that the players are playing it out and trying to get as much information about what cards are in each other's deck, because that does help when we get into like sideboarding mode and like game 2 and stuff here, as they kind of are working through this matchup. And yeah, we do see the push trying to get used here. Force negation going to come down, and we'll kind of do that little battle over it. Not going to let that frog die here.
Indeed. No, but I do think we are presented with little damage. Thanks to Frank being able to get some extra counters from discarding.
All right, so then we will be getting ready and going into sideboard mode here. I mean, like, I am all about, like, when you're playing in big tournaments, you know, waiting and trying to get that information to kind of maybe see, did my opponent reveal an extra card? Can I confirm something that they're on so I know maybe what to bring in? But so looking at our Esper's list, I mean, I can see a few things that might be beneficial here, but what do you notice that would be really helpful in this matchup in particular?
I think that the scariest card for any blue deck is Mystical Dispute, especially for such a heavy blue deck as the blue-black flash deck, because a lot of blue-ish decks in the format, the blink decks mostly, don't really play that many blue cards. They're mostly splashing for Riddlers and maintaining like white X core of the deck. But blue-black flash is truly a blue deck with most of their spells, especially post-board in this matchup, I think will be blue. So that's excellent, as well as Teferi, which is a card that might be tricky to resolve because it's a 3-mana sorcery speed card against a deck full of cheap counter magic, and I assume that we'll see a bunch of disputes in Lucas' sideboard as well in a second. But once Teferi sticks, there are Sheoldred's Edicts to kill it, but it is definitely a card that's very problematic once it gets on the battlefield. So I would assume that these 5 cards will be bring in, and then probably some removal spells will be cut. Prismatic Ending doesn't sound that great.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the secondary monsters like Ulamog, or maybe like another removal spell. Like, you don't need to be that fast in this matchup. Right. I think you want to be a bit more interactive.
That makes sense. Kind of streamline your game plan with a little bit of backup and protection set up there. I like that. So we get to see a little bit of access here to the blue, black, or at least Grixis flash deck here. A little bit, like you mentioned, the disputes are in here, of course, in the board as well. But are there any other tools that you feel like would be beneficial, like consigns or anything like that, to kind of maybe answer like a solitude or stuff? Or is that too much of like overboarding?
I think that's overboarding, yeah. I think that was a good insight on your part, because the problem with, or one of the advantage, I guess, not the problem for blue-black when facing Gorgo is that you can't really cut all the small ball removal from your deck like you would naturally do against combo deck, because you need to be able to kill Psychic Frog. So I think the easiest cut is Kaito. That's just not what we are about in this matchup. Don't want to tap out on your own turn at all. And then we have to kill. Then we have to cut 2 more cards. I think with 3 Spell Snare, 3 Dispute, you can cut 1 Fatal Push if you're feeling like it. Other potential choices, I think, are Bowmasters, which can be good from time to time, but mostly if they are drawing a lot of cards, then they will find an answer to Bowmasters, like we just saw against Griselbrand. And Atraxa doesn't draw cards, just put them into your hand, so it's not that effective. What is nice about Bowmasters is that it's a good card against Teferi. Like, if you play Teferi and your opponent flashes in Bowmasters in response, that's pretty awkward. You can't really bounce all that well. And if you go up, like, you are not getting value out of it. So we'll see how it goes. But I would assume that there are 6 Mystical Disputes right now in this matchup, and then probably some Teferis as well.
Awesome. So we're going to be getting going here with game number 2. Both players going to start off with their Paludas and just sort of another turn 1 Thoughtseize to start it off here. I love it. That is really nice here. So getting things going with at least a vision of what's going on in the hand here. And it looks like we do have confirmation about how many players are playing in the main event today. So there are 274 players playing for Modern today, which is always great to see, and a nice variety of decks. And we're going to be trying to showcase as many different decks as possible today, because we got 9 rounds of coverage for all these players here. But
yeah, that's a great turnout.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially since Modern isn't like at the forefront of organized play right now, with this round of RCs being standard.
Correct.
And there is an RC next week in Europe.
So you would
in
think
Turin,
maybe a lot of people are getting ready for that, but yeah, good turnout. Like what I want to say, what is it? April is our shift till Modern RCQ.
Yes. I think
Okay.
2nd of April. I think is the first day of the new season, something like that. Beginning of the April. March is very busy for. It's a good time to be a Magic player in Europe. We get 4Seasons this week. Then there is RC next weekend, and in 3 weeks we have Poppergeddon. Popper is an amazing format, one of my favorites right now, and universally loved in Italy. So I went to the last 2 Poppergeddons. They were both over 1,000 people.
Oh my gosh,
playing
that's
Popper.
awesome.
So I'm very excited to travel to Italy for the next few weeks. I already went to Bologna last week as well. So I'm basically half Italian right now.
Yeah, especially with all these traveling you're doing. That's great. All right, so let's jump back in here. We did get to see a little bit of Thought Season and setting up here. Lots of interaction sitting here in Luca's hand, but not having that second blue does make it a little bit tough.
Yes.
We did get to see the Fatal Push get stripped, though, with the Thought Seize.
So the rest of the hand, there were a couple of counter spells as well as Consult the Star Charts in Luca's hand, which I assume will be used to grab the 3rd land at some point. I can also see Mystical Dispute and Sheoldred's Edict. Yeah, I like that dispute. I think that, once again, preventing Michel from discarding a monster to the graveyard is very important. Yeah, and now, unfortunately for Luca, we can see the sacrifice you make to play Wong Shitong with Field of Ruin. Your mana isn't as good as you would like to see, as you would like it to be from time to time, but it looks like it worked out at least reasonably well with Consult grabbing the Flooded Strand.
Yep, so was able to find that missing land. So now we're going to see, like, one frog attempted to get resolved, wasn't able to. Will there be any follow-up, or is it just going to be a nice little setup here with maybe the Archaeologist or something here? Because, like, that's basically where we're at now for the Esper plan, is we still need to get something big and scary into the graveyard. And, ooh, okay, Emperor here.
Emperor is nice. There is also a frog in Michel's hand. The best play on this turn, the ideal play, would be Teferi if Michel had access to it. Especially knowing that there are 2 counter spells in your opponent's hand. I don't quite recall, because there is a Sheoldred's Edict in Luca's hand, whether Michel saw it from Thoughtseize. If that's the case, then obviously they would be less inclined to cast Teferi, but I do think that this play is definitely pretty good. Next turn, you can both adapt the Emperor of Bones, and if you have land 4, you can play another 2-mana spell, either Goryo or Frog, which are both in Michel's hand, depending on whether you find an Atraxa or Griselbrand from the top of your deck. And we can see the Surveillance, which is definitely one of the biggest additions to Modern in the recent memory, or reasonably recent. We had them for just over 2 years at this point. And I think Goryo is the best Surveillance deck. Like, they gain the most from being able to use them. And well, what a great draw from Luca. I think they drew Spellsnare, so they can cast both Spellsnare and Sheoldred's Edict on this turn, being able to catch back on tempo very nicely.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to see how things work out on this turn, because this is that kind of big reactionary turn for Luca here. Like you said, he's got a lot of tools available to him to kind of start responding and kind of trying to disrupt the game plan. Because up till now, it's kind of been just sort of like, the dispute, but otherwise